This is Sean with Silver Tongue. I'm here with Bobby Blitz Ellsworth. Overkill, how's it going?
Doing well, Sean. Good to be back in Atlanta.
I'm glad you came back. It's been quite a while.
I can't even guess years, but I would say probably somewhere about a dozen.
Probably close. I think it's been 95, 96.
15.
I've been to them all, so.
Hey, right on.
You're on Killfest, 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Killer lineup. How's the tour going so far?
Good. I mean, a good lineup is necessary, and that's one of the reasons I guess we're back. That and the strength of the last record, Ironbound. It's great having Forbidden on the road and smaller, babier bands. We call them baby bands, even though they're in their 20s probably, but that's because they're playing a lot of the same stuff we're playing. It's good because it brings out some of the younger kids to see the younger bands, and then they get to see bands like Forbidden and ourselves, and I guess understand where it came from. So we haven't really had an unsuccessful night so far, and I'm hoping that string keeps up here in Atlanta.
It's a good mix. Bonded by Blood and Evile are very good.
Yeah, sure. We've done a couple tours with Evile already, and Bomb we toured Europe with already. So it's we know most of the guys, so it's some good camaraderie here too.
Cool. 25 years. How the hell do you make a set list out of all your killer stuff?
You just don't. You play what you want. That's really what it is. I mean, we'll throw in one from each of the first 4 records. We've always been partial to the record horoscopes. There's a couple from there, and you got to do new stuff. That's always my feeling. So we'll do 4 new ones too. But I think the idea of trying to make set lists is almost an impossibility based on the amount of catalog that we have. I mean, it's like Dee Dee and I have been involved in the making of 150 songs. Something like so. I mean, so how do you play that in how do you represent that in 90 minutes?
I mean, every record has a screamer in there, so you got to pick one of those.
Yeah, something, right? Yeah.
New album, Ironbound. It's fucking kick-ass. It's got a great sound. The first one on Nuclear Blast and E1.
Correct.
Derek and Dave really seem to be really tight. The song Ironbound, I love the solo breakdown on that. It's really cool.
The lineup as it stands right now is really gelled, and I think that Ironbound's a great representation of that. You can always write good songs, but where's chemistry come into play? And in Ironbound, one of the things that I find is that everybody was playing tight because we were on the road, especially Derek and Dave. Ron is now leading the ship, which he should be doing. He's steering it. So we have this kind of road chemistry that we brought into the studio. We got off the road in, I think, March and started recording in April. And it was great competition. It was Overkill Exodus for Europe, so you go up there to win every night, not to lose. And they're hard to beat, obviously. Do I think we beat them? Obviously. Did they think they beat us? Probably. But the idea is if that bleeds into the studio, you get you can get great results. That chemistry can be of a real high level because of reliance on each other, dependence. When you're in the live theater, that you know the other guys right there. That's what it's all about. It's all on the one. For how Ron leads the ship and how the other guys play with him. So I think that's where Ironbound gets its let's say extra bit of juice, because you can't fake the road. But if it comes into the studio, welcome it into the studio.
Well, you brought Peter Targan in for the mix. What did he pull out of it?
Well, he's the thing I like about Peter, and that Dee Dee and I spoke about it for a while, was that what he does with regard to mixing, he doesn't necessarily mix singularly. He thinks of who he's mixing. Makes that band sound like that band. Let's say whether it's one of his own, like Hypocrisy, or whether it's Destruction or Arch Enemy or Dimmu, whether it's Overkill, that there's still individual personality that comes out in those mixes. And that's why we like Peter. He's heavy, he's climbing up the ladder, obviously, and clean. I think if I had to say what did he bring most to it, the thing that I like the best about this mix, if I had to pick an individual thing, was that the drums really sound like drums on this record. Tight and concise, like triggers, but at the same time they sound like organic drums, and I think that's a great accomplishment for most.
Cool. You got a video to bring on the night? You doing any more videos for this album?
Probably not. I mean, this is probably the end run that we do in the U.S. now. I mean, we may do some more shows in April, end up in one of the theaters in New York in April. We have another Euro tour between this and that April run. And then probably a new record. I mean, it's by that point it'll be, you know, almost 2 years since we started working on Ironbound. So we think it'll be, you know, kind of a good time to start. So we've done just about everywhere we could. You know, we've done the 2 European tours. We've done 2 American tours, South America, Australia, Japan, Mexico. It goes on and on, you know. So it's a, you know, I mean, no complaints. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's sometimes you just have to pull back and not over tour yourself.
Cool. A couple fan questions. Do you have any vocal training, or what do you do to warm
As I
up?
put the marble in my mouth. What?
Do you do any kind of warm-ups?
I do scales, and I pick other guys' brains. I mean, I've done scales since the Taking Over record in '87. Actually, when we were recording it. But if I really admire somebody's voice, like Russ from Forbidden, I ask him how he warms up. I ask him to show me. A lot of people are not really hip about showing you how to warm up, how they do it. Rob Dukes has given me some tips from Exodus. He does a different kind of a thing. He went to, was it Katie Cross down in the city, New York City? But he does like a buzz on his vocal cords where I just do scales up and down and bring that scale higher. The best tip I ever got was from a girl in Europe. Her name is Britta. She plays with a band called Cripper. It's kind of an underground metal band. She's got that, she can do that Angela stuff from Arch Enemy, but she also can really sing like an angel. And she showed me how to get the lightest note possible, and that's called dropping the balloon. It's like you hold your hand up in the air and just pretend like you're dropping a balloon, and what would that balloon sound like as you're dropping it, you know? And it's the lightest note you can come up with. If you can obtain that note, you can probably do anything with your voice. So I'm into it, obviously. Yeah.
Another question from the fans is the mashed potatoes book. Your recipe on that. What's probably the most famous person you served with your recipes?
Oh, my mother, obviously. Mom. Let's see, who's had that? I'm trying to think who came over and had that. Didi Verdi hasn't had that. Famous person I've served that recipe to. Nobody famous. That's a family thing. That's mine was tarragon salmon. My wife bought me. We own a chocolate shop, and we import chocolates, and she really runs it, and I do behind the scenes stuff. So when I'm off the road, I do all the cooking, you know. And then she got me these pots and pans like, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm like, dude, you can't tell anybody this, you know. I'm in a fucking metal band, for God's sake. So I started getting into it more and more, and the next thing I knew, the kitchen became mine. She was happy to relinquish the rights to it. So when I'm home, I do the majority of the cooking. I mean, breakfast and dinner for sure. So.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
25 years of metal. If you don't have Ironbound, go get it. Bobby Blitz, they're on the road.
It's #1. Yeah.
Thank you.